Hey everyone, and welcome back to Malaysia in Focus, the channel where we dig deep into the stories that are really shaping Malaysia. And you're going to want to listen to this one, because if you get any of your money tips from TikTok or YouTube, well, the rules of the game have just completely changed. So let's get right into it. We're breaking down Malaysia's big Finfluencer crackdown and what it all means for you.
So this really boils down to one huge question, right? When does the simple post about money, a TikTok video or an Instagram story, when does it stop being just a fun tip and become actual regulated financial advice? It might seem like a small difference, but believe me, the answer now comes with some pretty serious consequences.
I mean, think about it. For the last few years, our social media feeds, TikTok, YouTube, Insta, you name it, have just been exploding with financial creators. We all know them, right? The Finfluencers. They've kind of become our friendly neighborhood gurus for everything from saving tips to hot stock picks.
Okay, so just to make sure we're all on the same page here, what is a Finfluencer? Basically, it's anyone on social media who makes content about money, personal finance, investing, wealth management, the whole shebang. And the reason they're so popular is that they're relatable, right? They feel accessible. But, and this is a big but, regulators have started to realize that all that influence can hide some pretty serious dangers. And that's really where the problem starts. That friendly, easy-to-understand advice, sometimes it can go south. It can turn, well, toxic. Regulators began to notice a worrying pattern of people getting hurt financially, and that's what forced them to finally step in and say, okay, enough is enough. We need to draw a line.
So what kind of dangers are we actually talking about here? We'll take a look. We're talking about influencers promoting super high-risk trading schemes, pushing investments that aren't even regulated, and selling those classic get-rich-quick dreams. And what's worse, a lot of the time, they were getting paid behind the scenes to promote this stuff, without ever telling their followers. That's a massive conflict of interest.
And this quote from Anwar Shweib from the Malaysian Financial Planning Council really just hits the nail on the head. He said, personal finance is sensitive. Wrong advice has real consequences. And he's absolutely right. We're not just talking about losing a few ringgit here and there. For some people, following the wrong advice can be totally devastating.
Okay, pause for a second. If this breakdown is already giving you a clearer picture of what's going on, do us a quick favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Seriously, it's the best way to stay ahead on these crucial issues in Malaysia so you're never caught by surprise. All right, let's continue.
So with all these dangers floating around, the authorities finally had to act. And that brings us to the solution, or at least the beginning of one. We're now entering a completely new era for financial content in Malaysia, and it's being led by the Securities Commission.
Yeah, the big name you need to know here is the Securities Commission Malaysia, or just the SC. And this is big news. As of November 1st, 2025, they've officially put new guidelines in place. And these guidelines, they pretty much rewrite the rulebook for anyone who's giving out financial advice on the internet.
And the new core rule is honestly pretty simple, but it is so important. It's this. Giving out investment advice as a business without a proper license from the SEC is now considered a serious offense. That's it. It's that simple, and it's a total game changer.
Okay, now this is probably the most important part for everyone to understand, whether you're watching content or creating it. This is the new dividing line. Look, a Finfluencer can still educate you. They can explain what is an ETF, or break down how EPF dividends work. That's all good. That's education. But what they cannot do anymore is try to persuade you. They can't tell you, hey, you should buy this specific ETF right now, or promise you that this fund is guaranteed to double your money. See the difference? The second it turns into a specific personal recommendation, boom, that's when it crosses the line.
All right, so what does all this actually mean for us, the people watching? Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the consequences for breaking these new rules, and, more importantly, how you can protect your own wallet from here on out. And listen, the penalties for getting this wrong are no joke. We're not talking about a small slap on the wrist. If you're caught giving unlicensed investment advice, the maximum fine, get this, is 10 million ringgit. And it doesn't even stop there. On top of that massive fine, you could also be facing up to 10 years in prison. The SEC is not playing around. They are sending a crystal clear message. This is serious business. So how do you keep yourself safe in this new landscape? It's actually pretty straightforward. First, just be skeptical. You know the old saying, if it sounds way too good to be true, it almost certainly is. Second, keep an eye out for labels. Creators now need to be upfront if something is a paid ad. And third, this is a fantastic tool, use the SSC's own investment checker on their website. You can literally just type in a name and see if that person or company is properly licensed.
Now, it's really interesting to zoom out for a second, because Malaysia isn't an island on this. This whole crackdown, it's actually part of a much bigger global movement. Regulators all over the world are scrambling to figure out how to handle the Wild West of social media finance.
I mean, just look at what's happening elsewhere. Our neighbors in Singapore, their monetary authority has super strict rules. Over in the UK, their regulators demand that any financial promotion has to be fair, clear, and not misleading. So you see, what the FCA is doing here isn't coming out of nowhere. It's basically bringing Malaysia up to speed with global standards. And what all these countries are learning is that it's a really tricky balance to strike. You want to protect people for sure, but you also don't want to scare off the genuine educators who are doing good work.
We've covered a lot of ground, so thanks for sticking with us. Look, if you want to be part of a community that's all about getting clarity on these big, confusing issues in Malaysia, then please tap that like button and make sure you're subscribed. Let's keep making sense of all this together.
So this leaves us with a really big, thought-provoking question, doesn't it? Will these new rules actually make our social media feeds safer for investors, or will they accidentally make them quieter? A place where good, valuable educational content starts to disappear because creators are just too scared of accidentally stepping over that line. It's a huge question for the future of financial literacy in Malaysia. I'd love to hear what you guys think, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.